So for our first project, me and my team are going to be creating the Mario Kart character selector UI. For those of you that haven't played Mario Kart, it pretty much works like this, where you have a grid of characters over here. So this could be Mario, Daisy, Peach, or anyone. And then over here to the side, you have the current player selected. So the pretty much the idea is as you hover through the apertures on the list over here, your character is going to be shown over here, right? So the way we're going to go about doing that is going to be using pretty much a list for the characters over here to the right, and then just a div over here, and then add some CSS. But yeah, let's start coding. So to start off here, we're going to be creating the div, which is where we're going to house our list of players. And then we're going to have a noted list, which is going to be our photo grid. And within that list is going to be each of the different characters that we're going to be able to select from. And each of them are going to be distinguished by a unique ID, which is their name. And this is going to be very important later on because that's what's going to distinguish what player is being selected. And then at the bottom here, we have the div where the currently selected player is going to be shown. And I'll go ahead and let my partner Chad let you know about the CSS. What's going on in the CSS?
Our div B is our player card, which appears when the mouse cursor hovers over a character in our list. To style B, we use background size with the value of cover to extend the GIF to the corners of our player card. The position property with the relative value allows the card to sit on the same playing field of the grid because they're in the same list, which will be discussed later. That's why we moved it to the right for sound purposes. For our player list items, we use classes to style our grid and use background size to contain the image in the divs in our list. Also, the main animation that we added was the hover effect, and one of the transitions that we used was to make our grid items opaque on hover for more sound purposes. Now Aaliyah will go into more detail about our hover effect.
So here is the bread and butter of our code other than our player list, which is located on the left of my screen. To create the mouse over hover effect, we use the ID of each player to be selected and the ID of the div where we want to place our pop-up image of the selected player. We also, of course, use the hover selector to style our div for the effect, but most importantly, we used a tilde, which represents a general sibling combinator. The general sibling combinator separates our two selectors, the selected player ID and the div, and matches the second element, which is our div, only if it follows the first element. This pretty much means that our div B has to be a child of our player list in order for the hover effect to work. And it also means that the tilde, our general sibling combinator, is absolutely necessary for the hovering effect to take place.
So yes, after all of the development, this is the final result that we have. You'll see over here to the left, we have our grid of playable characters, and then over to the right, we have a place for the currently selected player character to be placed. And as we hover over the list items over to the left, let's say we hover over Luigi, we see that Luigi has a GIF that pops up on the right, indicating that he's the currently selected player. And you also notice on the buttons on the left-hand side, when we hover on top of them, there's an animation that allows the button to zoom in a little bit and gives it this yellow border, simulating the goldish effect that you get from the Mario games. And same thing for the title up ahead. We added a nice little transition to make it red in the same way that Mario has a very red, color scheme to him.